All right, so let's bring in NFL Hall of Famer Brett Favre. Much like all of us, you are sitting at home right now trying to stay busy. First of all, I just want to ask how you're doing.
I'm doing fine. Um, a little bit anxious like everyone else, ready to kind of get back into normal routine. But I'd rather stay at home and do the right thing until this is completely eradicated. However that, is done and whenever it will get done, we need to do as much as, collectively, that's the only way it's going to happen is you stay at home and not spread it.
Absolutely. So I want to talk to you about the draft. Of course, it's less than a week away now. We're used to this huge fanfare, this massive event. We saw Nashville last year. So none of that is going to be happening. These guys are going to be at home, much like you were back in 1991 when you were drafted. So what do you think about the draft this year and how it's going to look and what that's going to be like?
I think it will be sort of a throwback to when I was drafted, maybe even a little bit before that. Now I heard the term, well, it's going to be a draft over the internet now. Well, that we didn't have internet. I never even heard the word internet in '91. It was via phone. I think several players may have been invited to New York, but I'm not sure. Now they've really. I give the NFL credit for making it more than just sort of like the Super Bowl. It's more than just a game. The draft has become more than just a draft, and so this is a little bit of a setback. But the bottom line is it's about drafting these college players, and that will not change. And the excitement that those guys have to be going through. Leading up to this, I vaguely remember what that was like, but the anticipation will kill you. So that part of it won't change. Either a guy gets drafted or he doesn't. Where he gets drafted, when he gets drafted, all is the same. It's just without all the fanfare.
Well, speaking of the draft, taking a look at the quarterback class, obviously everybody expecting Joe Burrow to go #1 overall. How would you, as probably the most expert person on this, how would you evaluate this quarterback class and who stands out to you?
Well, I think Joe Burrow would deserve to be the first pick in the draft if you just strictly base it off of his performance this past year. From a team standpoint, I don't think we've ever have seen a team dominate the way that they dominated, and obviously he was the leader of that team. And I saw very little flaws, if any. I really didn't study him any before last year, but what I saw last year is worthy of a first pick. That's that. I think there's several other quarterbacks that really it comes down to, the thing you have to look at, and it's not my expertise to say, is what a team is looking for not only in a quarterback, but in a particular player, period. Maybe the best player available is not a fit necessarily for that team and the style of offense or the style of defense that they like to play. So that's a lot of times a general fan doesn't see or know, and not that they should, what the coach, what the organization, what they're thinking, and why they went in the direction they did. So, but I think Joe Burrow is as close to a can't miss as you can possibly get based on his performance.
I got to ask you about Tom Brady. Of course, you know him well. I've seen a couple of interviews now. You said, in your opinion, you think he looks as good as he's ever been. You made 2 of those moves later in your career as well. So what do you think about him going to Tampa and what we can expect from him?
Well, regardless of what happens, it's his decision. And I commend him greatly for that decision, not necessarily for leaving, but for taking that leap of faith. And you know what? I think, what he's done in New England, we may not see in our generation ever again, the dominant play that he has shown for so long, and just the durability has been unbelievable. I mean, just a great player, great leader. And, I think more than anything, and I know Tom real well. We've talked a little bit about it, but I think more than anything, he just kind of wanted to try his hand at something different. And you can't fault him for that. It has nothing to do with the organization, even though people may make it out to be, a rift between he and Belichick or the organization. Look, what they did is unbelievable, and that will not change. And he just wants to try his hand at something different. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't, he's still the greatest to ever play the game.
Someone else who doesn't look like he's slowing down a whole bunch would be Aaron Rodgers. Your Green Bay Packers made it all the way to the NFC title game, lost to the 49ers. So if there is an NFL season, what are you anticipating for Green Bay this year?
Well, I think, and I can't remember what my exact words at the start of the year last year, but I said, I do know that I said, don't rule out the Packers. As long as they have Aaron Rodgers running the team, they have a shot. And there were a lot of faces that no one recognized on that team, including the head coach, who I thought did a heck of a job this past year. But as long as they have him, it's like Tom Brady. As long as you have those guys on your team and starting, you have a chance to go all the way, not just make an impact, all the way. And Green Bay, I think, surpassed a lot of people's anticipation or expectations in regards to how they were going to do, and made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. And they're only going to be better. There's no decline in his game. It's just going to be another year in this new offense and working with his new coach, which will only make them better.
I mentioned if there is an NFL season, because of course, like we all do, that's not really a possible. We don't know what's going to happen right now. I was listening to this interview and I thought it was really interesting where you said one of your favorite throws you ever actually made was when you were with the Vikings to beat San Francisco at the last minute, and how important the crowd reaction was to you. So tell us about that moment, and for you personally, what it would be like to play without fans.
Well, I don't know what it would be like to play without fans because it's never happened. I guess the closest thing would be, a scrimmage or something. But even then, you have people in the stands. So I don't know what that was like or would be like. I only can say this: I love playing in front of the fans. If you asked me to sing or say a speech in front of 70,000, I would be petrified. You asked me to play football in front of 70,000, I would rise up to the challenge. That was what I was born to do. And I think when you take that away, I'm not saying it can't be done, but there's a level of depression, I think, if that's the right word, that would come with it. Like, I want to play in front of people. Now, granted, you would be in, on the TV. But, yeah, as far as the San Francisco game when I was with the Vikings, this is the best example, but it's happened so many times throughout my career, in other quarterbacks' career, where you get hit, and regardless of if you're home or away, you would gauge what happened on that play, either good or bad, based upon the crowd's reaction. Obviously, the play against San Francisco was the first home game as a Viking for me, and it was a lot tougher game than I was anticipating, but it came down to the very last play of the game, and it couldn't have been any more dramatic than it was. Not that I was drawing it up that way, but when I got hit, I just threw it, got hit, I went face down into the turf, and as I was looking into the turf, I was just thinking to myself, please cheer, please cheer. And it was just the loudest cheer and roar that you can imagine. And I knew that was a good sign. So you're going to lose that without fans.
Well, hopefully that does not happen. Brett Favre, I know you've been a big advocate for staying safe during this pandemic. Now you are coming together with other athletes, musicians, comedians to help raise money for COVID-19 related causes. Tell us a little bit about that, and for everybody watching this, how we can help.
Yeah, well, there's endless ways you can help. For me to tell you, do this, do that. The first and most important way you can help is by not spreading or contracting the virus. I think we all get that. Secondly, donations of whatever you feel you can do or want to do. And in regards to this, this athlete, this musician, this Cameo Cares is really, I think, doing a great thing. And it's really, I think we may be doing the first. There was one yesterday, maybe, but we're really in the trial basis of this. So I don't really know what to expect, but it's just more or less kind of putting people together without being together, if that makes sense. And it's a collection of athletes and celebrities and politicians with fans. And I think that's a great idea. Cameo, what they've done is really ingenious. I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes you think, why didn't I think of that? I could have come up with that app and I could have retired a long time ago. Cameo was really kind of ingenious what they came up with. It's very simple, but ingenious idea, bringing the fan and the celebrity together. And this is just their general app. This is a collection of celebrities with fans, and just kind of really talk, ask questions, and just really give it a up close and personal chance to visit with the celebrities.
Well, we know you got
and raise for good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. Brett, before I let you go, I have to ask, are you brave enough to raise your hat for us?
It's sort of an orange. Consider this quarantine week 4. Now, next week I may go with a pink, so stay tuned.
Tell us what happened. You're bored at home like all of us. This had to do with your daughter. Tell us the story real quick.
Yeah, so I got gray hair or silver hair, whatever you want to call it normally. That may surprise people, but so my daughter and 2 of her classmates have been quarantined here at the house, and they said, "Hey, Dad, let's make a TikTok." So I tried my hand at that. My dancing was terrible, and we got on the subject of coloring hair, and I said, "Color my hair, whatever." I said, "I'm not worried about. I don't have anything to do other than this right now." But I said, "We're quarantined." I said, "Call me crazy," but so we went with we tried a blonde first, but I think it was too close to my silver hair that it didn't do anything. I said, "Let's go with something crazy like orange." So here we are.
All right, we appreciate it. Like you said, next week it may be pink. We're just going to have to tune in to find out.
Yeah.
We're going to see.
Yeah.
All right, we are so immensely appreciative of you joining us here on CBS Sports HQ, NFL Hall of Famer, personal, staying at home like all of us. Brett Favre, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.